So, hi, welcome to the very first Playtime podcast. So today, in the second half, we've got an interview with the marvelous Fergus McCreadie, who's a brilliant guy and a brilliant musician, and that's really fun. So you stick around for that. He's playing on Playtime at Playtime next week on the 2nd of November, 2023. And the first half of the podcast, we've got a discussion with 4 out of the 5 members of the Playtime Collective. Graeme Stephen, unfortunately, couldn't make it because he had a gig. And we're talking about our big news, i.e. our program for this year that's funded by Creative Scotland, includes doing podcasts and stuff, but there's a lot of things to talk about. So in the first sort of 25 minutes, we'll be talking about that. And then in the second 25, 30 minutes, there's an interview with Fergus. And hopefully you enjoy it. So please let us know what you think of the podcast. And we will evolve. We're going to try and, as we move forward, we're going to try and play some music each time from the Scottish jazz scene or connected to the Scottish jazz scene and things like that. So we'll be previewing upcoming live streams that we're doing and there's things that are happening. So if you've got any news that you want us to read out on a podcast, send it in as well. We may or may not read it out, depending on if it's of interest. We are doing this to sort of build on the interval interviews we did during lockdown, and we only did those because we were live streaming gigs, and in the interval between the music we found people were like switching off. So the reason for doing them initially was to try and stop people from, we had large numbers of people watching the first set, maybe sometimes as many as 6 or 7, and we were trying to stop the people leaving in the interval while the musicians had a wee break. And that was the impulse. But then actually we started interviewing jazz musicians, and who knew, but they're actually interesting, articulate, funny people with interesting stories to tell. And nobody really seems to tell those stories because jazz is kind of overlooked by the mainstream. So there are some things like radio shows and stuff that cover jazz, but they don't have a lot of time to go into detail with people. They're not particularly often interested in some of the musicians that we're interested in. And anyway, so there was actually quite a big response to the interviews, and I met a lot of people that said, "Oh, I really enjoyed the interview." So if you did watch any of the interviews during lockdown, or even in any of the live streams, it'd be great if you could send us a message, either on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or an email if you're old school or over 40. info@playtime.co.uk is an email address. No, it's not. That's wrong. I've had to dub this in later. It's info@playtime-music.co.uk. We're not dealing with an intelligent person here, people. We're dealing with an idiot. So sometimes you just got to fix something later, haven't you? Playtime Music 1 is us on Facebook and Instagram. So send us in if you watched any of the interviews. Which one did you watch, or which ones did you like? We'd love to hear from you. We also have no idea what we're doing, making a podcast. It's a brand new thing. So we're probably going to make loads of mistakes. In fact, I met somebody yesterday, because I teach drums at Napier, who's a friend of mine who used to live in the village, and she teaches podcasting at Napier. So I'm going to get a lesson off her, but it'll be after we made this one. So, maybe so things hopefully will improve. But please send in if there's anything we've got wrong or suggestions on how to make this better. Send them in. We'll read it out. And everything is every day is a school day. So that's the philosophy. Just trying to get better at stuff. Okay, so let's get started with. There was something else I wanted to say. I was lying in bed this morning thinking, what am I going to say on this intro? And yeah, it's probably going to bug me because I'll remember it afterwards. And then, did I write it down on my phone? Oh yeah, no, I know what it was. So I'm going to do it at the end. Yeah. So if you actually stay listening to the podcast, the thing that I was about to do there, which is really great, I'm going to do it at the end. So even if you find the next two sections really boring, it's worth listening to them and staying tuned, because the thing at the end is going to, honestly, it's really good. So let's get started with the first part of the podcast, which is discussion by 4 out of 5 Playtime Collective members about our big news. Here we go. So, hello everybody. Here we are. We're waiting for Mario to join us, who's uncharacteristically late. Has he ever been late before, Martin, for anything?
Not that I know of. I'm actually quite worried. I think we should alert. I think we should alert the emergency services. Make sure he's okay.
It's not like him, is it?
No, he's almost too punctual. It's almost
It's almost un-Brazilian.
Oh, well, poor Mario.
I have to go to the pub fairly soon, so I thought it'd be better if we got started, and he will join us, and it'll be entertaining and dramatic when he appears. Like, I don't know enough about Shakespeare, but there must be a Shakespearean character who appears. It'd be like Omar Sharif in Lawrence of Arabia coming out of the sun on a camel.
Nice.
We could maybe
beautiful.
Maybe find the music from that scene and place it under his arrival. I'll see how that goes. So we are. This is going to be during the very first ever Playtime podcast. Which could be really shit, but we're going to learn as we go, and so there'll probably be nobody listening to this because we're going to be building up. But people might go back and listen to it later, like even years later. I don't know if do you guys listen to podcasts?
I listened to the Alan Partridge one from the Oast House, and it's brilliant. I don't know whether it's sort of him. It's Alan Partridge doing a podcast, so it's a sort of meta podcast in that way, I suppose. But it's not
all podcasts meta podcasts, though.
Well, I don't know. But it's obviously, I don't know. It is a show, but it's him doing a podcast as a sort of show. But then it is a podcast too. So I don't really know how to sort of describe it exactly. But it's classic sort of Partridge. It's very funny.
Yeah. Are you saying that you're coming on this podcast as yourself, or are you playing a comedy character?
Well, I'll do my best to come on as myself, but that could change.
Okay. Matt, do you listen to podcasts?
I think the last one I listened to was a while ago, and it was actually Martin Green's one, The Portal. Oh. It was great, really, really good. Yeah. But no, since then, I mean, that was like last year. Something like that. I was driving up from London, and I did the whole thing in a one-er. It's great. Got me from London to Edinburgh.
I mean, he's really professional. I mean, he's a professional, isn't he? I mean, we're not like that. I started listening to Bill Burr's Monday Morning podcast, which, if you go back to the first episode, it's 2011.
Oh, wow.
So I decided, I think I'm going to like this, so I'm just going to start at the beginning. So I started listening to this thing from 2011, like last year, and I'm still in 2011. I've listened to about 10 episodes. So by that metrics, it's possible that somebody might listen to this in 2034.
Oof, that's a scary
so good
thought.
luck to them. Good luck to them. Hello, 2034.
Yay!
We might be all dead by then. You know what I mean?
Quite probably, yeah.
Almost certainly one of us will be dead.
So suddenly taking a dark turn, man. Suddenly taking
Maybe
a dark
people
turn.
can write in which of us do they think is going to be dead. And if they get it right, they'll get a prize in 2034. Anyway, moving swiftly on. We'll just cut that out. Sorry. We're here to talk about our big news for this year. So the first thing is we're going to start live streaming gigs. And how are we feeling about that?
I'm feeling good. How you guys feeling?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's great to get back. Obviously, we did that before for a while, especially obviously during COVID, and I thought it was great. It really worked. And people really responded to it as well. Definitely.
Yeah. There were some of the most stressful experiences of my life during that, in the learning curve phase, and Matt's life. We tried to protect you from that as the talent, Martin. Oh, Mario's here.
Hey,
here we go.
Lawrence of Arabian music. Oh, here he is.
Hello there. I am sorry. I apologize for the delay.
That's okay. We've started already, so we're recording.
Okay. Well, glad to join the recording.
We didn't say anything abusive about you.
Okay. Well, that there's time then. There's still time.
So we're just
Tom, for you to do your best or your worst.
We're just talking about how we're feeling about live streaming again, and how there were some of the most stressful experiences for me and Matt during the technological learning phase of that journey, which I've got a feeling there's going to be a bit of that this time. So things could go tits up.
No, I think Matt got it. Matt's got it totally under control.
Okay.
Totally.
Well, I'm looking forward to the post live stream debrief.
I just do you remember that gig we did? Like, I think we'd had 2 weeks of it being really awful, and then we thought we'd fixed it. And I think you literally were on the mic saying, "Well, we've done our best. We fixed it. This should be a good one." And then something else completely different just completely failed. Like the mixer went down or something completely random.
Yes, that's
and
right.
It was like,
the whole mixer went down.
No, we're gonna have another week of it. Try again.
And then we invented the 2PG connection, which was running a 80-meter Ethernet cable through the gutters, the rain gutters of my two neighbors who are both pensioners. So it came out, I plugged it into my Wi-Fi router, it came out of the front door, up into their guttering, onto the next house, and then into the village hall. And that was the 2PG connection that sorted it out perfectly until the broadband got upgraded in the hall.
And 2PG was for what?
Two pensioner guttering.
Yes, that's. I remember that was some really genius naming. That's wonderful. Yes, I do remember that. That was like, and then it was all systems. Like we had quite a few occasions where we'd like hold our breaths and first, minutes, and then it goes like everything's going, yeah, go. So.
I mean, then there wasn't any other audience than people online. So when it went down, we were like standing in a room just with ourselves. And so this time, there'll be an audience in the room. So we'll just have to crack on, So it won't be as mortifying for us anyway. But we'll see.
I'll just be sweating in the corner at the back of the room.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be exciting.
So next thing we also, because the thing is, we've got funding from Creative Scotland. I'm going to put up the logo right now. So we're very grateful for that. And we have to put up a logo, and we've not been doing that on the videos we've done so far. So all of us need to wear logos all times on our person. Just going around the house.
On the forefront like that. Like,
I don't think it has to be on the forehead. I think it can be anywhere on your body.
okay, can we choose?
You can choose, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll just keep my choice.
It has to be more than a certain size.
Okay, like this size.
So, so we're using the funding to support the gigs to pay everybody better and our guests, which is great because maybe we'll be able to make a living from being jazz musicians in Scotland.
That's a very, very hopeful proposition, but hey, I'm all behind it.
And then we're also releasing some recordings from that we did online over the internet during lockdown, and
amazing ones, some of them.
So who have we got on that then? Who are the guests on that?
We've got
Byron
Laura Jerd,
Byron Wallen, Laura Jerd,
Corey Mwamba.
Corey Mwamba, although I'm having trouble getting hold of Corey. If you're watching this, Corey, please phone. Or just send a message saying you don't want to be on it and we'll just take you off. Nothing's final. So, and Dennis Baptiste.
Yes.
And Satoko Fuji and Natsuki Tamura. And Ian Bellamy.
Ian Bellamy, that was a great
I was
one.
going to say, that's great. Yeah.
Now, I wanted to do something to demonstrate because it should not be possible for us to improvise together online, especially with a sort of rhythmic, common, shared pulse because of latency. And I thought to demonstrate that on this, we should, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we all have to clap.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm actually holding my mic.
I'm going to count us in, and then we all, after 3, clap, and we'll see how fucked up this actually is. Because you wouldn't know from the talking part, but this hopefully will demonstrate the latency. And if we all clap in unison, then there's something wrong.
and the whole premise of thing just like falls through.
So here we go. I'm going to count us in 1, 2, 3, and then clap on 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, clap. I don't know how that looked for you, but you guys are a little bit late.
Try that again.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh.
I'm kind of with you. I'm thinking that I was clapping the same with you.
Yeah, but that's me arriving at your house.
Right.
So then it had to come back to my house.
Yes.
So
anyway, the latency was a problem that became our friend.
So like I'll clap my clap and then I'll clap the distance between my clap and your clap at this end. It was like this.
Oh, okay.
That's how out it was.
Fantastic.
So that's the kind of thing we overcame. I don't know how we did it, but I might play a little bit of something just as an illustration of us playing together over the internet.
The thing is, I got so used to it that I can't play in time with anybody anymore.
That's now a problem.
That was
thing, and he's like, "Dude, you're late," and I was just like, "No, that's playing it correctly."
I'm using the latency.
I think it was like that before, Marty. Just
Yeah, I'm kidding myself. You're right.
No, I remember early on when we were trying to work it out. You and I had a trial run, and we tried to play in time together, just the two of us, and it was really, really hard.
Yeah,
it didn't really work. So I'm wondering if it was when we added more people that suddenly it sort of kind of cross-triangulated or something.
Can I say what I think it was? Because when we actually got over the fact that we were not going to be able to count in time, and then we decided to incorporate the fact that we're not going to be in time, and then we basically stayed on our own particular tempos, and then each one of us kind of decided their own tempo and tried to kind of people work with it. So I would get my tempo and then listen to you, and then trying to use your tempo with my tempo. At some point, we actually would create a sort of a multi-layered texture that would actually work. And that's what I think was the biggest success of that whole thing, is because we then started playing more in terms of dialogue, of narratives. So Martin would start doing something, then I would jump in with him, then Tom would start doing something, and then I would jump with Tom, and then Martin with Tom and Graeme. And all this kind of crossing over is like, it sounded really organic, and we actually developed, because we played every week. And then we started getting the hang of it. And in the end, because all we were doing was associated with the Zoom, so we had the four of us in little squares. Once you take that out of it, and you listen just as music, you can hear the fact that the narratives are still hold on, even though they're not in sync per se. That's my analysis of the whole thing. If anyone is interested.
That was fascinating.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Okay.
We should say that
No.
Graeme's not here because he's got a gig, and
Which is a good thing. Good for him that he's got a gig.
Somebody's working, yeah.
Yes.
And he's going to be on the next thing. We hope. He's not involved. He's just anyway. So just to finish off, because I've got to go to the pub. As well as all these things, we're doing this podcast that you're presumably watching right now. I mean, you as in the audience, not you guys. And we're also promoting ourselves on social media, which you might have seen some of our initial video efforts up to date. I just wondered how everybody felt about that so far.
I'll just leave it there.
I think they're great. I think that they're being social media at the same time as kind of slightly undermining social media.
We are undermining social media from within.
We're radically reimagining social media.
We are going to destroy social media from within.
That's exactly using it for our own benefit while destroying it subtly.
We're gonna burn it to the ground and go back to pre-social media.
Also, I've been criticized by my daughter-in-law so much for being a boomer and incapable of actually using social media effectively.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, you boomers, her father and me. And I was like, you know what?
Your daughter-in-law.
My goddaughter. Sorry, my goddaughter. And
I was thinking, I never got invited to the wedding. What the fuck?
No, my goddaughter. Well, we can talk about that later. Anyway, yes. So yeah, and I was like, no, you know what? I think it's great to say I hate that, because a lot of people also hate that, and it's good to be honest about what you hate. Yet use it for your own benefit and say, hey, I hate it, but I still use it. It's like money. Think about that as money. I hate money, but I use it. I have to use it.
You hate money?
Yeah, the money thing. Yeah, I hate it.
So you don't want any money. You don't want any money from the gigs.
No, I do. I hate it because I don't like the money thing. The money that causes greed and wars and problems with humans and all that shit, I hate. But I understand that I need money to do the shit I want to do. So it's not that it's a
necessary
like money.
evil.
No, I need money, so therefore I will hoard money, and money will go out on the black hole that is my bank account. It comes in, it goes out. There's no problem. Nothing stays, but it doesn't mean I like it. So it's like social media.
It's a necessary evil, like having a bass player.
No, it's actually not, because you cannot have a bass player. But sometimes you need a bass player, like money.
So I think I've got to go to the pub in a minute, so we're going to have to wrap it up. But the only other thing we haven't talked about is we are going to go into the studio next year and record an album of the top compositions from the last, because it's 10 years, isn't it, Marty? Is it April?
Is it? Well, yes, it will be. Yes,
it will be 10 years, man.
2024 will be 10 years since Playtime started. Yeah. Very exciting
And we're
amazing.
going to get another photo done. That's how.
Yeah.
We're going to have a before and
we
after.
do one every 10 years, don't we? That's what we originally agreed.
Yeah, so we're going to have the this is the 2014. Here's the 2024.
This is what 10 years did to us.
Look at how we've all aged.
This is what 10 years
Can
of
you tell
playing jazz did to us.
Can you tell which is which?
Yes. Oh, that's gonna be fun.
So how are we going to decide which tunes we record? Maybe Matt can decide.
Fight.
Yeah, Matt's neutral.
I'll totally. Yeah, I'm in. I can do that. Give me a list. I'll just pick one or two.
Do you actually like jazz? Do you like jazz?
I was thinking like a mud fight. Mud wrestling.
A wrestle.
Mud wrestling. Yes, we would all wrestle. Yes, we would all go mud wrestling to decide which tunes. You know,
I'm totally happy to do that because it'll be all my tunes.
Well, I think you're overconfident there, Mr. Bancroft.
Yeah.
I'm
like, how much do you weigh?
It's not all about weight, my friend. I'm sorry, it's not all about technique. You know, there's mud involved and there's technique, and you know, remember, the more
there is mud.
The more you weight, the harder.
I'm giving you my crazy fighting eyes.
Well, even though I don't have any tunes, can I still be involved in the mud wrestling?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Nice,
that's right. That's what I'm saying. It's all about
I reckon Matt would be pretty handy in a mud wrestle, actually.
Mud wrestle.
Yeah.
Tom, we also need to talk about the program.
We do. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to talk because it's amazing. It's a really cool program we've got lined up.
Do you want to just give us a wee rundown?
Well, we've got next week we've got Fergus McCreadie, which is going to be the first live stream with Fergus, who's just like a superstar. And then
in this podcast, there's an interview with Fergus. I don't know if it's before or after this bit. So
yeah, so that's awesome. And then 16th we've got George Burt, I think, who is like one of my favorite people and musicians ever. He's just brilliant. And then the 30th we've got the wonderful Helena Kay. And I've got some news about Helena, which I don't think you guys know yet. She wants to do Carla Bley tunes.
Oh, wonderful.
Which I think is an absolutely brilliant idea.
Oh, man. I'm so bummed because it ain't going to be me.
Yeah, Mario. Unfortunately, Mario's not on that.
I met Carla Bley once.
Did you?
Yeah. I was meant to be... You know, I did that project Band of Eden with Laura McDonald. Originally, that was meant to be with Carla Bley. And I was going to be writing big band music with Carla Bley. And John Cummings was trying to set it up. And it was all arranged, but I needed to get this funding from Scottish Arts Council. And they decided that they would prefer it if I did it with a Scottish composer.
Oh, well.
There you go.
But yeah, that'd be cool. And then
see my crazy eyes?
Crazy eyes. We fear the
crazy eyes. And I met
eyes.
Steve Swallow and Carla Bley after a gig in London. And it was all like they loved they listened to my stuff and they were really excited and blah blah blah. And then it got
didn't happen.
But what an amazing musician. Just
composer. Unique, just fantastic. And then the 14th of December is Shona Aitken, isn't it? We've never had her on Playtime before, have we?
No, we haven't. That's going to be great.
She is amazing.
She's an incredible musician. Like, I mean, I've worked with her several times, and every time I come away going, she is so like, she's a monster player. She's like monster arranger. She's
and
so
a monster singer.
That Chasing Sakura album, I listened to it the other day. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I hope she's going to get us all kimonos.
I think that is about a all women band. I think she's gonna get all dresses.
Oh,
I'm open for that. I've done shows in as cross dressed as a woman.
Okay,
but it's cool. I can do that. It's fine.
More on that in the next podcast.
We're gonna. Like Mario's going to talk about on his own podcast.
For the family.
Well, I'm going to have to go to the pub now.
Okay.
No, that flew by, didn't it? That's that's like 30 minutes of nonsense.
Shite,
That's
yeah.
easy for us. That's easy for us to do, man.
Let's just do one more clap to finish.
Final clap, right.
1, 2, 3. Yay! Together forever.
Not together forever.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
Nice one.
Lovely seeing you.
We'll see you at the
See you
gig.
later.
Go get that pint.
Take care,
I'm not
guys.
drinking. I'm not drinking. I'm going to a meeting in the pub.
Oh, a meeting.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Pathhead has a Christmas lights switching on ceremony,
Yes.
November the 23rd,
Yes.
and some of the musicians in the village are going to be playing at it. It's going to be massive. Matt's doing some of the tech for it.
I will be. Yeah.
And playing Santa.
Yes.
Are you playing Santa?
No, I don't think so. No. I mean, I can.
I'm so jealous I don't live in Bathhead, the bottom belly of creativity in the universe.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay.
See you soon. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
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 I'm stopping recording.
I just love the fact that I had literally no idea that's what we were doing.
What did you think we were doing?
I thought it was a meeting.
Yeah, I need to explain that. So it turns out that Matt thought we were just having a meeting. He didn't know we were doing a thing for a podcast. So he said that he would have, turned off the dishwasher and probably done his hair different if he'd known. So I'd like to apologize to Matt for not explaining that properly, and thank him for letting us to still use it. So next up, we've got a chat with Fergus McCreadie, who's playing with us on the 2nd of November. Here he is. We're recording. Hello, Fergus.
Yay! Nice. How's it going?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Where are you?
I'm in my flat in Denniston in Glasgow.
Denniston.
My room. Yeah.
So
Very nice. Where are you? In Pathheads?
I'm in the People's Republic of Pathhead, the music centre of the universe.
I didn't realize that it's seceded and become its own country.
Yeah, we kind of declared independence, and Karine Polwart and Martin Green are sort of joint presidents.
Ah, okay, I see. Was that by how did that happen? Was that by a referendum, or was it by a rebellion, or?
Do you mean the independence or them becoming president?
Oh, maybe both actually, maybe both. But I meant the independence.
It just happened, or kind of through osmosis, a kind of political osmosis.
I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The classic way that politics happens.
We just sort of musically created a boundary that, like a musical bubble around a village, and now it's in a separate nation.
Wow, that's that is good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. I was looking back because actually you were the very first interview that we did.
The first, really?
The very first one. You and
Very
Stephen.
nice. I mean, Stephen.
It was February the 1st, 2021 when it went online.
Whoa. Oh God, so much has happened since then. Can't believe
I know.
that half years ago.
Yeah, and that was right in the middle of the I think it was in the middle of the second lockdown. Or no, the first lockdown. Or anyway, it was right in the middle of COVID anyway.
Mm.
And a lot's happened to you since then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's crazy. It's crazy to think. Honestly, all that stuff like the lockdown and it all feels like I don't know. I don't know if you feel this, but it feels like the last 3 or all close to 4 years now is just kind of because I feel like there's sort of before and after COVID happened, isn't there? It feels like it's all like one big year. I don't know. It feels like time feels like it's gone a bit weird since then.
That's why I've only sent you the one birthday present for that entire time.
Oh, that's fine, but what a birthday present it was. What a birthday present it was. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it was very expensive.
Yeah. We shouldn't say what it is because you don't want.
I don't actually
accuse of favoritism.
So, in terms of like, how old now? If that's not a personal question.
No, it's not. I'm 26. I can't believe those are the numbers coming out of my mouth. But yeah, 26.
26. Okay,
yeah.
you're actually exactly the same age as my son, Sam.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've met your son. Yeah. Remember.
So, yeah, so you're no longer the sort of 21-year-old new on the scene.
No, I'm
musician.
old. I'm jaded. I'm less attractive than I used to be.
Really? Really?
I don't know. Maybe that's not for me to decide, is it? But I think
if you're going to start, I mean, I get that because I sometimes say I'm really elderly, and actual elderly people get annoyed with me. And so when you say that to someone who genuinely is no longer attractive, it's kind of like I'm going, "What, Fergus, man? No, you can't say that. You're still attractive, okay? You still got a couple of years."
Thanks. I appreciate that. No, yeah, it's just. I think it's a weird thing. I think that obviously because you're right. I think I was speaking to my manager the other day, and we were just talking about like updating the website or something, and she was like, "Oh, we should take young out of your bio because
right.
it wasn't necessarily to do with the fact that I was. It was more to like because a lot of people put young in their bios. It's quite nice to kind of have a bio that doesn't just rely on you being young, but also I don't know, like removing that felt like a sort of a step. When you get your first, it was similar to me getting my 26 to 30 rail card. I feel like I'm leaving like that. It's a weird feeling, but
yes.
But yeah, but it's nice seeing new musicians coming through as well. That's fine.
Well, that's one of the things I find very interesting is kind of watching the young musicians like yourself and Stephen and those and your particular cohort that are doing really great, and watching you sort of move through the stages of it's partly the music industry thing and how things are progressing, but also just on a personal level. So I've had a couple of conversations recently with musicians in their sort of early 30s who've got kids and families, and things are really changing for them in terms of how it's all working. And sometimes they go, how did that work for you? Because knowing that I'm really old and my, I've been through that. And I go, well, it wasn't easy, and I don't have any real answers to how to do it. It's just you've got to get through it. But it's really watching you guys get a bit older, but you seem to be doing great. Yeah, I mean, everything you're doing seems to be so successful.
Yeah, I think it's been the past year or so, and we're coming up to a year ago that I kind of had this crazy week, where I was up for the Mercury Prize. So I did that thing live TV, and won the Say Awards and Best Instrumental at the Jazz FM Awards. That was all in the space of like 2 or 3 days or something like that. So it was crazy, like a crazy amount of attention has kind of come on me. So yeah, like I think
was the Mercury thing cancelled because of somebody dying?
Yeah. The Queen died.
The Queen. Oh
the
yeah,
Queen, it was. She wasn't around for that long, but that was a really weird experience actually, because it was meant to happen in September. It ended up happening in October, and when it happened, there was all this chat because I don't know if you remember, but it was on the news everywhere that like, oh, the Queen is in ill health, or like the doctor's gone to it was, I can't remember exactly what it was, but everyone was like, I bet this isn't gonna I bet something has gone wrong and this is gonna get cancelled. And then literally as I walked in to the venue, walked onto that like sort of red carpet entrance area, our sort of rep who was there whispered into the ear, "Oh, BBC's just confirmed that the Queen has actually died." And then so 15 minutes later we went in and this announcement of doom came over the speakers and said, finish your drinks, leave. It's not happening. It was actually one of the most surreal moments of my life. It was insane.
Was the whole audience in and everything?
The whole audience was in. Everyone was already like had got themselves a glass. I think the assumption was that it was going to happen. So generally, people were pretty surprised that it got cancelled. I think, but they were really brutal about it. They like cut us. They like, I suppose they just didn't want to be seen doing anything celebratory on that kind of day. So they really chucked us out really fast. But yeah,
was it a Thursday?
It was Thursday. Yeah,
because we were doing Playtime the same night.
Oh, really?
The outhouse, and I went up to the. I had a feeling that. Well, I got told that the Queen had already gone to the golden bathroom in the sky. You know, it's like the day before or something, and they were kind of keeping it quiet.
Yeah.
But, I've got a nephew who's in the security industry, and they know stuff because.
Yeah.
Anyway, it may have been bollocks, but. So I said to the manageress at the outhouse, if the Queen is died, are you closing? She went, fuck no.
That's the most response.
Okay, we're going ahead no matter what. We'll struggle through the emotional turmoil. And
did you go ahead in the end?
We did, yeah.
Wow.
We did.
Yeah,
and,
it was a remarkable thing because I think on the news made it seem that the whole country was like completely changed. And I think you know, if you were a royalist, if you liked the Queen, then it probably did change a lot for you. But genuinely, that happened. Went out, went to the pub after for like a few hours. It genuinely didn't feel. It was this really surreal thing where an insane event has happened, but nothing feels like actually has changed. It was a weird juxtaposition.
I mean, the one I resented the most was when Prince Philip died, and they just cleared the TV completely, and it was just all these. And I think Laura was in MasterChef or something like that, and we wanted to watch the MasterChef final, and it was like they've cancelled it because of Prince, and it's like when Prince died, the musician, that meant a lot to me, and cancel everything. That was devastating. But I don't particularly, you know, I've got nothing against the royal family, but they don't mean anything to me. And I know a lot of people love them and all that, and it means a lot to them. Fair enough, but I don't see why everybody has to be forced to watch, you know, stop watching MasterChef.
This sort of imposition of grief, maybe that can be a frustrating thing. I definitely get that. Plus, I think I watched that actually, the rerun of that Laura in the final of MasterChef. It's very impressive actually. Thought she cooked very well.
Which brings us on to the Brangelina Scottish Jazz Power Couple chart. Because Laura at one point was married to Tommy, and obviously at that point they were the leading couple in Scottish music. And they were both jazz musicians, so they would have made it onto the Playtime Scottish Jazz Power Couple chart. To be on the Scottish Jazz Power Couple chart, you need to have one of the couple being a jazz musician.
Yeah.
And the other person has to be a musician.
Okay.
So I'm kind of very delicately leading into talking to you about the wonderful Juliet, who you play in her band. And she was on this essay, how do you say award? This year,
she was on the long list. That's right.
And so that's a kind of folky improv. I mean, I listened to it. I thought it was great. I loved it. The album.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it's really, really amazing music, and it's a cool band. And yeah, I think there's sort of a spectrum. I think with folk music, which is a bit maybe more defined. You know, jazz is so multi-directional. It can kind of be one way, whereas I think there's sort of a like folk can kind of range from being super arranged to being like, you know, not very improvising and not really that arranged. I think her music falls in the latter, and it's really cool actually. I love to play trad, but I'm not a trad pianist actually. So to get the opportunity to play some trad music which has a bit of that jazz influence and has a bit of that improvising influence is really I don't know, for me it's very, very inspiring actually. And I love those. She sounds amazing, and playing with Matt and Charlie as well, who I play with a lot in other snares, is always great. So it's a very inspiring thing for me.
Well, I mean, I met her doing this Distill thing that I was teaching on, and she just hearing her play like folk tunes on a cello, the way she played them, I just thought it was absolutely amazing, like just mesmerizing. and I'd never really heard anyone do that well before, and it was just like because I just loved it.
There's something very authentic about it. I find it's not just playing the tunes just kind of note for note. It's not just copying what a fiddle player does. It's like adapting the tunes and like playing them in the authentic sort of style so that they sound good on the cello. It's very impressive, and it's very unwieldy, I think, as an instrument for sure. Unwieldy, like
unwieldy, yeah.
Compared to I mean, obviously every instrument is hard, but these folk tunes are written for whistle players and fiddle players, so naturally they're going to sit a little bit better on those instruments, whereas on cello I think it's a much harder work, so there's more of an uphill battle, I suppose.
Harder to get it on the bus and stuff like that.
That's true, yeah. Harder to like carry about, harder to put through windows, definitely.
Yes. So can you tell me how to correctly pronounce her surname?
I mean, I'm worried I'm going to mispronounce her name, but I'm pretty sure it's Lemoine. So if you're doing, because it's a French name, so if your father is French, her dad is French. Lemoine is how you would say it, I think.
And
but I could be messing that.
Fergus McCreadie in French.
Fergus McCreadie, something like that.
Okay. Very good.
That would be my impression of a French person saying my name. How would you say? How is your name pronounced in French?
In French, it's Dom Bancroft. But in Japanese, it's Tomo Bankrofto.
Is that actually?
Yeah, and my friend Daisuke Kiyama, who was at university with, told me that it meant fat black pig in Japanese. And I've since tried to verify that with various other Japanese people, and they've all gone, no, it doesn't.
So he was
years, I believed that my name meant, and I think my friend was just taking the piss. You know.
Okay, most likely. You need to get Benzie to do the VAR check on that one.
Well, I did check it with Alan, and he I think he just walked away, and
he didn't want to engage in that.
He just thought, oh no.
He'll only talk about Japanese if it's super serious. I think he's a very serious guy.
So, talking about how your name is pronounced, there's a new regular feature that we're trying to test out in the podcast, which is. It's called, now the name of it will probably come over a bit funny until I explain it.
Okay.
But the name of the section is My Enormous Dick.
Okay.
And the reason for it being called that is because I used to do this show called Kidsimonium, and we had this idea to get the children and parents chanting the name of the show backwards. Like the name of the show pronounced backwards, and then we'd loop it and then reverse it, and then magically they'd be chanting the name of the show. And so I bought a loop pedal and with a reverse button and took it home, and then and we were going to have fun with the loop pedal with the audience and stuff like that. We had to find a new bit in the show, and I was going, but the whole bit would be the ending of this section would be them chanting this weird thing. And then we reverse it, and it turns out it was Kidsimonium all along. So when I got home, I got it all set up, and it was like, what is Kidsimonium backwards? What are we going to get the parents and children to chant? And I pressed the button, and Kidsimonium backwards is My Enormous Dick. And it's like, what are the chances?
So did you or did you not go ahead with the show in the end?
Getting the children to chant My Enormous Dick.
Yeah.
I didn't go ahead with it, Fergus, and I kind of, I guess it was a moment of artistic cowardice.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sometimes you just do it by feeling, it didn't really feel right.
I mean, maybe 20 years ago I'd have gone ahead, but it just didn't feel like the right thing to do. However, so as a result, I started exploring the names of things backwards, and I wondered if you knew what your name was backwards.
Yeah, I think the McCreadie is much harder to say backwards, but Fergus is pretty easy. That's just Sugref, I think, right? But
Sugref. Yeah,
Sugref. But yeah, it's like getting the exact tone of it.
I've got an app that does it. So
really,
yeah. So McCreadie, I think it's going to be McCreadie. Eid Irkum Sugref. So I'm going to record that. Eid Irkum Sugref. Right. So can you say that? That's
Yeah.
it. Eid Irkum Sugref. And
Okay.
this is it reversed. Fergus McCreadie.
Oh, that's pretty good. So you
Not
smashed
far
that.
off.
That's not far off. I think the last name was harder than the
Yeah,
the
the
first
last name.
That's good though. That was good.
Eid Irkum Sugref is your
Sugref.
is your my enormous dick name.
Oh, amazing. Who's next? Who do you have to do that to after this?
Well, George Burt is next. That should be quite easy.
That should be quite easy. Helena Kay, well, probably quite easy, I imagine.
Who?
Helena?
Yeah,
Kay?
Helena.
That
I
would
mean,
be quite easy.
Helena is the leading Scottish jazz power couple, #1 in the chart.
Yes,
with,
that's true.
She goes out with Stephen Henderson, your drummer, who's
Yeah.
a wonderful one. Oh my God, did you see the Headhunters gig at Isla?
Oh, I did. It was absolutely ridiculous. Hender was all over it. That was so good. I love that original record actually, and yeah, it sounded. Yeah. I think there's like when you do that music, if you just it's easy to just like maybe play Chameleon and just do like a funk, just generic funk groove or whatever. But Hendo, like everyone else is sounding great, but Hendo in particular is just like absolutely sounding exactly how I can't remember the original drummer's name, but exactly how that. Is that it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was just absolutely brilliant. I mean, I was just like bowing in front of him afterwards. Yeah. I sort of checked out that record a lot and tried to transcribe some of it. And so I kind of knew how specific it was. And I was thinking, are they going to just kind of turn up and jam on it, or are they going to really do it properly? And they really did it properly.
Yeah, they really did. I thought that was a great iteration actually of that festival, the Isla Jazz Festival. I had a really fun time. We didn't do any gigs together, I don't think. Only hang. But
I think we played one tune in a jam session.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, you handled me quite roughly, and you're firing rapid notes clusters at me in a way that, as an elderly man, I found it a little bit difficult to cope with, just because the speed of processing the thought was beyond my ability to process. So that's why,
you know what goes around comes around.
All right. Well, listen, man. We're really looking forward to having you at Playtime next week. And
me too. I'm still looking forward to it for sure.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come on and doing this interview, and congratulations on making it into the Scottish Power Couple chart.
Charts. I hope we can work our way over that. I mean, it's tricky because Hendo and Helena obviously have pole position because they're both jazz musicians, but I hope with time.
Another top 5 couple is Tom Gibbs and Rachel Lightbody, who got engaged this week.
Surely they got engaged. No way.
They got engaged this week, yeah. And so they've kind of getting engaged kind of fires you up the chart.
I would assume that would put them into pole position, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I think maybe they are. I'm on the chart with Gina Ray, who's my wife.
Obviously.
So we're right down the bottom because A is really boring. We've been together for years, and B,
yeah. There's a lot. It needs an excitement factor, doesn't it? I think Tom and Rachel have now just achieved maximum excitement factor, and that'll kind of last them through to whenever their wedding will be. I suppose David Bowden and his wife Emma are kind of on that chart as well.
Are they?
Emma's a musician.
Is she a musician?
Yeah,
well,
she's amazing.
They sneak in at number 10.
We'll say that. Maybe you need to get a bit more awareness. The number 10 feels harsh. I think that they could.
Where would you put them then? Where would you put them?
I don't know. I mean, my ranking is going to be different to yours, but I would put them definitely top 5 actually. Definitely top 5 because they only just got married earlier this year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I maybe need to make a little graphic up. There's Ewan Burton and Siobhan Miller. They're a power couple because they're both mega musicians.
That's a highly ranked one, definitely.
Anyway, the final thing I want to ask you is, if you've got anything coming up that you want to kind of talk about that people can go and listen to, or anything you want to promote and direct people to?
Yeah, I've got a few solo gigs in November, which is very exciting.
Great.
So I've kind of been practicing and playing solo for a long time, but this is the first time I've done like consecutive. I think there's 4 gigs in Scotland, in Glasgow, Stirling, Tolbooth, New Galloway at the Cat Strand, and Cairns Hall in Dundee. So having like those 4 gigs, kind of try and stretch out and explore the solo thing, I think that's going to be nice, actually. So yeah, come down to those if you want. The details are on my website. Pretty sure.
Great, awesome. All right, man. Well, listen, I'll see you next week, and lots of love. I look forward to playing with you again. I'll hopefully be in great shape to cope with the speed of thought and the magnificence of your playing. And
you're very kind.
We look forward to it, and yeah, thanks a lot, and see you soon.
See you soon. Bye, Tom.
Cheers, man. So there you have it. Thank you very much, Fergus McCreadie, for that wonderful interview, and we really look forward to you joining us in a couple of weeks. Now, the thing I wanted to do that I told you about at the beginning is, during the interview with Fergus, we did the My Enormous Dick section, and I told the story about this idea, exploring this idea for the Kidsimonium show of, having some fun with a loop pedal and getting the children and the parents chanting this weird sound and then reversing it, and it's Kidsimonium. So I wanted to actually show you that reversing Kidsimonium is genuinely My Enormous Dick, because otherwise you'll think he just wanted to say My Enormous Dick because he's a sort of middle-aged male guy with a certain sense of humor, and that's not why. I mean, the reason why this section is called My Enormous Dick is because I chose a name for a show called Kidsimonium, and it is reversed My Enormous Dick. I should add to it that it's My Enormous Dick in a Swedish accent. So it's like, My Enormous Dick. Now, you may not believe me, so I've got my app here. It seemed to work better when I was doing it with. Anyway, so I'm going to record it. Kidsimonium. Right, so I'm playing you back the recording. Kidsimonium. And this app's going to play it backwards. So this is Kidsimonium backwards. So this is what I heard that day when I'd spent 250 quid on the loop pedal, taking it home, was really excited about having all this fun with loop pedals and the audience. And then we finished the section with getting the parents and the children to chant this phonetic sound. And then we'd reverse it and it would magically be Kidsimonium. This is what happened to me. I pressed the button. Oh, I've been talking so much, my phone's locked. Hold on. Here we go. This is what I heard. Here we go. My enormous dick. See? My enormous dick. My enormous dick. So that's the recording of Kidsimonium reversed. And that's what I heard. And the whole plan collapsed in front of me like, a Nazi at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's what happened. So anyway, that's why the section's called My Enormous Dick in a Swedish accent. And please send in any thoughts or feedback or comments on the podcast episode 1. And hopefully we'll see you at the live stream on the 2nd of November. And then in the next podcast, which will be in a couple of weeks. So thank you very much and goodbye.